Welcome, my fellow Dynasty Explorers. Today, we take the first step on our journey to find out just how much the Dynasty Warriors series has changed over the years. This journey begins with the 1997 fighting game, Dynasty Warriors. Each game covered in Dynasty Explorers will be graded from 1 to 5 in the following categories: graphics, sound, story, gameplay, and changes to gameplay. This first game will of course be exempt from changes to gameplay as it's, well, the first one. I will never compare a game to a future installment, but as of the next video, there will be comparisons made to previous games. I'll explain how that comparison grading will work when we get there. In 1996, Koei founded the Omega Force team as their fourth business division. They were tasked with making something different than the strategy simulation games they'd come to be known for. But they had no idea what it might become in the future, or that there would even be a future. They had no idea how close they were to creating a whole new genre of game, after this first one at least. Dynasty Warriors is a fighting game that is only on the PlayStation 1. It was never in arcades. While this isn't super rare for that time period, it's still uncommon enough to be notable. The game boasts 7 game modes: 1 player, team battle, tournament, time trial, endurance, and practice. It also has 16 playable characters, though 6 are locked at the beginning, and it also animates at a super smooth 60 frames per second. As for the gameplay itself, it's a one-on-one weapons-based fighter that Koei says employs strategic combat and traditional Chinese weapons. These claims are debatable. By now you've probably noticed some issues with the graphics. It wasn't nearly as noticeable on my TV while I was recording. In the recording, this level of interlacing is the best I can manage to get, but I'm sure it can be dealt with entirely with the right equipment. Other than that though, through PlayStation 3, the models are crisp and the animations are smooth. And as far as I could tell, there aren't any repeating animations between characters who aren't explicit clones of others. But as a whole, everything seems to largely lack in detail, especially backgrounds. For graphics, Dynasty Warriors gets a 3. One big negative point for me was the fact that the game doesn't even really make an attempt to convey the story and setting, besides giving the name of the fight field and the time of day before a match. Any story that there is regulated to character info pages in the options menu. This information is also available in the game manual, along with move lists for each of the non-hidden characters. The game also gives some sense of setting through the character endings, which range from showing how awesome and strong Lu Bu is, to this. Overall, for story, I give Dynasty Warriors a 1. In my opinion, the music is pretty lackluster. It's fine for what it is, but in my opinion, there's no real standout besides maybe, and I hope I'm not saying this too bad, Jude Liang, which goes from church organ to almost a Space Harrier vibe. That said, there's nothing actively unpleasant to listen to. It's mainly just devoid of very much to really grab onto. For sound, I give Dynasty Warriors a 3. So I've talked a lot about what the game lacks, but now let's talk about what it does have. The gameplay in Dynasty Warriors maintains a pretty quick and deadly pace, where as few as 2 input strings can equal the end of a round. Because of this, blocks, dodges, and parries are very important, and Koei emphasizes this by making block and parry 2 of the game's 4 buttons, the other 2 being slash and address. There's one special meter, the Muso meter. The inputs to perform a Muso are the same across all characters, and it's easily blocked. making it a pretty unimpressive special. One thing I found very notable, though, is the skill of the AI. Even at the lowest setting, it was no pushover. And at higher levels, it's just really unforgiving. So even if you were to never play this with an actual human, there will probably always be some level of challenge for you there. Overall, though, I think Dynasty Warriors is a pretty enjoyable game for what it is. It's by no means the best fighter out there, or even the best fighter for the time. But if you have a chance, go ahead and check it out. It's definitely something different from a lot of the other stuff out there. Not completely unique, but it's different, and it's an interesting piece of history. So, for gameplay, I give Dynasty Warriors a 4. So that's it! We've seen the origin of series, and I am sure that a few of you are surprised to find out what kind of game this first Dynasty Warriors is. Next time, though, we'll take a look at 1997's Dynasty Warriors 2, and see where the series as we know it today truly began. But I hope you all enjoyed this. If you haven't already, check out my previous video on the history of Koei. And if you have, maybe now's the time to watch it again. Thank you to my patrons for supporting me, and to everybody, thanks for watching, and as always, keep it juicy.